Okay, so chapter 6 homework video. We're going to do exercise 6-7 and 6-8. I have just created that aging table that is in problem 6-7 to save a little bit of time in the video. Okay, let's get started. Estimate what the proper balance of the allowance for doubtful accounts should be as of December 31st. Okay, so to estimate the allowance for doubtful accounts using the percent uncollectible method, we have to estimate what percent is uncollectible for the different age of the receivable. In this case, it's already given us what is uncollectible based on the different ages of receivables and the balance in each of those categories. Okay, so for this problem, it's really simple because we don't have to determine anything. So we're just going to take the balance multiplied by the percent uncollectible. And that is our allowance for doubtful accounts for anything that's a current receivable. Okay, anything that's 1 to 30 days, that's going to be the percent uncollectible, just 3% multiplied by our balance of 58,000. Okay, I think I've shown you this before, but that little box right there, if you click and hold, you can drag that down and it'll copy that same formula all the way down your spreadsheet. Okay, so let's add that up. Format it. Okay, so here, oops. So this is our allowance for doubtful accounts or uncollectible. Okay, so this is problem 6-7. Now let's go to 6-8. Using the data from 6-7, assume that the allowance had a negative balance of 4145. Illustrate the effects of the adjustment for uncollectible accounts on the accounts and the financial statements. So let's set up a debit account, a credit account, a debit amount, and a credit amount. And I'm going to do an intermediary step here. Okay, our beginning balance is 4145. Now it says it's negative 4145. Remember that uncollectible accounts is a contra account. So this is an asset that decreases an accounts receivable balance. So if we want to decrease an accounts receivable balance, we're going to have to do a credit or a negative. So that's why it shows up as negative. Because it starts with a credit balance in the uncollectible account. Okay, we have our adjustment and we have our ending balance. Okay, and our ending balance we know is what we just calculated here as uncollectible. Okay. So what does our adjustment have to be? It's going to be our ending balance less our balance that already exists in that account. Okay, so here is our adjustment amount. Now, what we're trying to do is say that we're not planning on collecting 21,000. And we've already said that we don't plan on collecting this 4145. So we're going to say we're not going to collect. When we don't collect something, it's a bad debt expense. And the amount we're not going to collect is this $16,858. Okay, and the other side to that, to the expense, is our allowance account. Now remember, allowance is an asset that's called a contra account. And so we're going to increase the contra account with a credit, but that decreases our assets. So you need to think of accounts receivable and allowance for doubtful accounts as both assets right next to each other. Instead of increasing and decreasing all in one account, we use this allowance for any estimates that we create. Okay, so here's problem 6-7 and 6-8. This ties in really well with your problem 6-1 homework, and this information is going to be on the test as well. So it will be good for you to set up a table just like this, and of course make sure you're using formulas. Linking your entries to here is a good idea, so that if I decide, well, this 31 to 60 days is not 29,000, it's 50,000, and it's 10%, my entire problem is updated because of that. So it's a good idea to build your homework problem that way, because it will come in handy later on.